Okay, this overpopulation thing again. Not a great conversation so far, not quite sure why I got myself involved in this, but I'll continue for a bit longer in the hope that it cheers up a wee bit. But not great so far, not great. I've made about 5 videos exercising my imagination, and that's at the moment I'm doing a solo workout, it seems. TB Serious made a video, you know, asking very valid questions. I thought about, or at least beginning to ask the question about euthanasia. I wasn't really going toward euthanasia, but yeah, alright, yeah, that's a fairly valid question. But Gary made a response to one of my videos, which is really crap. I don't know. You know, I mean, it's got this thing about this voucher system, where everybody gets a voucher to pass on, and you either spend it on your own child, or you give it away, or you donate it to a charity now, apparently. Like, that's not a system that's open to abuse, and of course not. When I point out the flaws of that, its solution is, well, you can put a picture on it. That makes it non-transferable, doesn't it? If you put a picture on it. It's just rubbish, really. It's just really rubbish idea. And just completely out of touch with human nature, you know what I mean? These things are easy to dream up. Yeah, it's easy to dream up a solution. Yeah, there's a voucher system. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, but, you know, implement. You're talking about implementation. And at the moment, the only solution Gary's got for him in terms of implementation is, you know, is basically a Stalinist state, you know. Shoot the people who won't comply, put them in jail. Fuck's sake. Yeah, right, that will work. That really works well. Quite apart from defeating the objective, you know, the idea is to make the world a bit of a better place. Not keep it as shitty as it is, but make it Stalinist at the same time. Fuck's sake. No, we're going to get more imaginative than that, surely to God. And then he goes on talking about, well, he seems to be under the impression that I'm working towards a virtual reality solution, which is not really what I'm after, I don't think. I mean, it might, technology, I think, offers some promise, and the kind of philosophical ideas that technology provides is a help. But certainly the virtual reality that he's talking about, which is some kind of immersive version of Second Life, where you can walk through the woods like this, but everything's slightly more pixelated, and you get to fly. And you get to turn into the Man of Steel and shag Lois Lane. Yeah, that's really great. So it's like this, only shittier. It's like this, and you get to be a misogynist cunt, and you get to be a patriarchal sexist pig in Second Life. That's really great. That's a really fucking taking one for the team there, isn't it? That looks like no. And it defeats the fucking object. It just makes the world solipsistic. It's basically saying, I want to take my huge spherical fucking needs with me wherever I'm going. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't want to sacrifice those. I wouldn't want to be a tiny testicled fucking Buddhist. I want to take my big fucking cojones into Second Life with me. But I want to be on my own. I want to be surrounded by simulations of sexy women and simulations of nature that don't actually, where there's no actual killing. If there's any killing, I do it. So it's like Westworld. You know, we've gone from Logan's Run to Westworld now, have we? Fuck's sake. No thanks. You know, I mean, if you're gonna change the world, you've got to change yourself. You can't just make the fucking world in your image, surely. I wouldn't have thought. Otherwise, what's the point? No, so yeah, that's all bullshit, really. What else was he talking about? Oh, he mentioned very quickly Soylent Green. Soylent Green, you know, this film that it's from a Harry Harrison book called Make Room, Make Room. But I think it is anyway, I'm pretty sure it is. In which the dead are fed to the living. Which is such a crappy use of fucking human resources. I mean, it wouldn't happen in real life. It was a big flaw in Soylent Green. You know, I mean, raising human beings as cattle is even more bloody resource intensive than raising cattle as cattle. Those cattle over there, you know, to raise that protein on the hoof, you have to spend 10 times as much protein to get it up and running like that. And if you're talking about humans, you're probably talking about 20 or 30 times, given it, well, probably more than that, probably hundreds of times, given the amount of the size of human carbon footprints compared to these carbon footprints over here. You know what I mean? The amount of protein you have to spend to raise the, whatever it is, 140 pounds of protein that I'm walking around in. It's nuts, really. So Soylent Green is a joke, really, in that sense. I mean, it's just a story. It's an experiment, a thought experiment. But you wouldn't raise humans for protein any more than you'd raise them for batteries, like they do in the Matrix. You know what I mean? The amount of electric power that a human being can generate is tiny. Stupid. If you're going to raise human beings for anything at all, you would raise them for processing power. You know, we seem to have this ability to generate massively complex brains. The fastest computer on the planet, and the most complex, well, not just on the planet, in the known universe so far, and most, one of the most parallel processing in existence, and it runs on less power than a flashlight. You know what I mean? So, yeah, if you're going to use humans at all, use them for, find some weird way of using the processing power, not as a protein source or not as an electrical power source. And it's probably more interesting. You know, I wouldn't mind dying in that, whatever that means, because I don't think it would mean anything in the kind of science fiction future that I'm thinking about. I wouldn't mind dying if my processing cycles were somehow captured, because that's essentially how I think. What I think I am. I think I am my processing cycles. So that's absolutely fine. And if my needs drop away, or if my needs change, or if my needs are reconfigured, or if my sense of who I am is reconfigured in the process, I'd have no problem with that at all. You know, this is just a larval stage. At the moment, the unfortunate part is that we all get squished at the end of our larval stage. There is no afterlife. There is no electronic fucking supercomputer to migrate into, which is a big bloody shame. But I wouldn't mind thinking about that for a bit. You know, see if I can get one up and running. It's certain. I mean, I know it sounds unrealisable. I know it's just science fiction. But I'm sorry, but compared to the voucher scheme, really, I mean, that is fucking noddy fiction, that is, it really is. And the idea that you could implement it by giving everybody guns, like you cure the suffering of the planet by giving everybody a gun, because that'll work. For fuck's sake. What is it about people who wander around on their own, you know what I mean? What is it, people who spend a lot of time by themselves and wander about talking to themselves? What is it about that? We've got that guy in Finland, what's he called, Pentti Linkola, I've been reading about. Deep ecologist, fascist guy. Terribly entertaining, you know, but he is a fascist. Came out in support of some of Hitler's policies. Wants to kill people, you know, any defectives, as I think Gary referred to them as. That's in his agenda as well. Complete racist. Get the population there. You know, fine, you want to go there. What is it about people like him who spend a lot of time by themselves in small cabins in the woods and wander around talking? And what's he called? German philosopher. Professor Anton talks about him a lot. Begins with an H. God. It'll come back to me in a minute. Nazi sympathiser. What about him as well? Same thing. Communing with nature in the Bavarian, or where it was, Alps, wandering around saying, trying to get back to the woods and arguing the case against technology and against the kind of depletion of the race and the depletion of manliness, and we should all get back to using axes and shit. Wish I could remember his name. It'll come back to me in a minute. I'll put a thing on the screen if I can't remember. Him as well, and Ted Kaczynski, you know, Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber Manifesto. You read the Unabomber Manifesto, you look at pictures of Ted Kaczynski, you imagine him wandering around his cabin in Montana or wherever it was. Jesus, that looks familiar, I'll tell you. Wouldn't catch me doing that, wandering around talking to myself. Oh, yeah, it's all bullshit really, isn't it? Give them all a gun, solve the problem. Yeah, right. Now, we've got to reinvent ourselves. You know, we've got to be prepared to change, not the fucking world, but ourselves as well. We've got to be prepared to reject needs, reject desires, reject wants, reject everything that we hold dear, I think, if you want to make substantial changes. Superman!